Hey everyone! Welcome back or welcome if you're new. Today I'm going to show you how to choose the right shade of red hair for your skin tone using myself as an example. This was a topic that was requested by a few of you, and in my choosing the right type of jewelry video, I did briefly talk about red hair a little bit, and I mentioned why choosing the right shade of red seems to be so difficult for a lot of us. But in today's video, I'm actually going to talk a little more in depth about the challenges of dyeing your hair red, walk you through the process of how I would choose the right shade of red hair based on what I know about the colors that look best on me. And then I'm gonna actually color my hair at home today and show you the end result. If all of that interests you, then make sure to stay tuned till the end. Okay, so what I've mentioned about red hair before was that a lot of hair colors that we refer to as red are actually closer to orange. And the reason why these red hair colors that are in fact orange are difficult to pull off for a lot of us is because orange is an extremely warm color. It's the one color we can't really make any cooler. In color analysis, we differentiate warm versus cool colors by looking at how much yellow or how much blue is present in the pigment, and orange sits across from blue in the color wheel, meaning it's the complementary color of blue, and when we mix complementary colors, they cancel each other out and turn into this muddy grayish brown. So if you mix just a tiny bit of blue to an orange color, the intensity of the color is reduced and the orange becomes a little darker into this sort of rusty orange. And I guess you could argue that the rusty orange with a hint of blue is technically a little bit cooler than an orange that has no blue in it, but really, it's the intensity of the orange that gets toned down by adding blue rather than the color becoming cooler. And this rusty orange is still a very obviously warm color. And if we try to add more blue to the rusty orange in an attempt to make it cooler, because blue is such a pigmented and dark hue, it can easily overpower the orange and turn the whole color into something that is no longer orange. There is a video by Sarah Ryan, the style coach, where she demonstrates this theory of mixing blue and orange by actually using different paint colors, and I think it gives a really good visual example of how the color changes to something completely different from orange when too much blue is added. So I'll link that video in the description if you want to see it for yourself. Now, why am I bringing this up? It's to explain how orange is a very difficult color to wear for anyone that doesn't look great in very warm colors. So in choosing the right shade of red hair for yourself, if you're better suited for neutral or cooler colors, there's actually a pretty narrow range of colors you can choose from. Let's say all of the different shades of red can be found within this range from cooler red all the way to orange. Based on what we just talked about with orange being too warm of a color for anyone in cool seasons or anyone really who isn't so suitable for very warm colors, from all of these reds, if we rule out the range of colors that have more of an orangey hue, then we're really left with a pretty small range of colors from neutral to cool reds. And the added complexity with hair colors is that it has different undertones depending on how light or dark your natural hair is. The undertone of your hair ranges from red to yellow as displayed in this chart. So if you have really dark hair and you want to dye your hair red, then in order for the red to show up, the value of your hair needs to be lifted by at least 2 to 3 levels. And by lifting your hair, the undertone of your hair becomes more and more orange, which again, as I've mentioned, is a very warm color that's difficult to pull off for the majority of us that don't look great in extremely warm colors. So in choosing the right shade of red, you want to go a little cooler than the actual color you think you want your hair color to be. Especially as the dye fades, the orange undertone of the lifted hair is going to show through more, which means your red hair will naturally turn a little warmer as time goes by. You could lift the hair to a much higher level in order to get rid of that orange undertone and then dye it over with red, at which point you would be able to achieve that color that you actually choose. But if you have really dark hair, lifting to a level 9 is going to be extremely damaging to your hair. I mean, I've been blonde for a number of years, so I know from experience how much damage bleach causes if you want to lift near black hair to a level 9 or a level 10. So level of damage is one concern, but also lifting the hair to a significantly lighter level can have an impact on the overall brightness or the intensity of the red that you're going to use as the color on top. Throwing on a red hair color on a level 9 or a level 10 hair is going to show up a lot brighter and more intense than on a level 5 or 6, because the higher the level, the more the hair underneath lacks the darkness or the pigment. And if you've been following my color analysis videos and series, I always talk about how your skin tone's relationship to color should not only be considered in terms of temperature, but also in terms of value and clarity. So if you're the type where darkness of the colors or how deep the colors are is an important factor for you, then lifting your hair to a significantly light level is probably not going to do you any favors. And if softness or clarity of the colors is an important factor for you as well, where your best colors are muted colors that contain a lot of gray, a bright red color in your hair is going to be overpowering. So again, you have to consider the 3 characteristics of color in deciding which shade of red hair is the most suitable for you. So it's not only about choosing between cooler reds or orange reds, but it's also about how deep or how intense you want the red to appear. Like I said, I'm gonna use myself as an example, and in my previous video on why do warm and cool colors both look bad on me, I talked about how for me, the value or the depth of color is the most important characteristic out of the 3. So I'm best suited for dark colors or colors that create a high level of contrast against my skin tone, but I do also need an element of softness in the colors as well, so nothing too intense, and I can wear colors that are neutral or sort of warm and sort of cool, but nothing on either side of the extremes in the temperature spectrum. So based on all these factors about myself, I really should avoid orange, and I need to maintain a level of darkness as well as a hint of softness. So what I need is like a deep, cooler red, and based on these factors, I've picked up these products. Obviously, if you can afford to, going to a hair salon will get you a more accurate result, but we're in a recession, so let's give this a go and see how it turns out for me. I'm gonna go get changed and get ready to dye my hair now. Alright, so now I'm in front of a mirror and I'm about to get started with the dyeing process. A disclaimer here that I am not a professional hair colorist, so I'm not giving you any professional opinions about how to dye your hair at home. I have dyed and bleached my hair on my own for a very long time, so I do have a few tricks that I use to make the process a little bit easier for myself, but I am by no means a professional when it comes to coloring hair. So the reason why I decided to go red is because I feel like I've just been so focused on setting up the new structure of services and creating the digital products that I haven't really had the time to take care of myself. So I thought just changing up my hair color would be a little treat for me to freshen up my look and boost up my energy level. It was a lot of work for me the last couple of months to set up the new structure and the digital products and all that, but I am honestly really proud of the creations, and not to brag, although I am totally bragging, I opened up 75 slots and they all sold out within the first 2 days, like within the first 48 hours, which is insane. And now my calendar is fully booked up until end of March. So thank you guys. And I hope that everyone that's booked a service with me is watching the video right now. You should have all received the comprehensive hairstyle and makeup guides. If you haven't, let me know. Either leave me a comment or send me an email and I'll make sure to send that to you. And let me know what you guys think about the guides. I wanted to turn part of the service into the digital product that everybody can purchase and have access to. So I would really love to have your feedback about them. So let me know what you think about them. Like I said, I'm fully booked until end of March now, so if you're looking to book, then you have to wait until April 1st. I won't be opening my calendar until then. I have also created a course for facial analysis. If you want to try out the facial analysis yourself instead of booking a service with me and then go through the hairstyle and makeup guides at your own pace, then you're able to do that. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I changed my logo, and I just want to give a quick shout out to Rena. She's actually a subscriber to this channel, and then she reached out to me one day asking if I need any help, and it was perfect timing because I was looking to freshen up the look of the channel along with the new service structure and updates to the websites and everything. Thank you, Rena, for all of your help. It was like the process was so seamless. I love the new logo. And she was just so helpful and amazing. So I'll link her website and portfolio in the description if any of you guys need a graphic designer. She has been amazing. All right, so here is the end result, and it is a very, very subtle color. I actually don't even know if it's gonna catch that much on camera. So yeah, it's a very subtle tint of reddish violet. I'm pretty happy with the end result. It did turn out a little more purple than I thought, but I know that's going to fade, so I'm not really concerned about it. I will admit that it is a tiny bit more subtle than how I expected it to turn out, but like I said, depth of color is the most important characteristic for me, so I really don't want to lift my hair to a much lighter level, and I wanted to maintain the darkness of my natural hair as much as possible. Now, I know for some of you, when you thought red hair, you were probably expecting something lighter and a lot more intense than this, but I've gone through my fair share of various hair colors throughout my 20s, which was way before I knew anything about color analysis or seasonal colors, and I'm not gonna make the same mistakes that I did before. So this is more or less what I wanted, and if you're disappointed about how subtle the color turned out to be, I'm sorry, but I think this was the right decision for me. But regardless, I hope that this video was at least helpful for you in determining how to select the right shade of red, or really the right shade of any hair color, period, for yourself. Like I always say, rather than getting fixated on finding out what your season is way more important and practically helpful to know which characteristics of color between temperature, value, and clarity is the most important for your skin tone. If you have an understanding of that, you can apply the knowledge not only to your clothing, but also to your accessories and in choosing the right hair color as well. Let me know what you guys think about my new hair color in the comments, and I'll see you in my next video. Until then, stay unique and stay gorgeous.